What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And for today's video, we're going to be looking over the top 8 Eastern Conference teams this far, halfway through the season. We're going to talk about the record, and we're also going to talk about the performance halfway through the season this far. And we're also going to discuss the potential I believe they have for the rest of the season. So without any more waiting, let's get straight into the video. And coming in at the 8th seed, we have the Toronto Raptors. There's definitely no question that the Toronto Raptors started off very slow this season. But lately, they've been starting to pick things back up, and now they're sitting at a record of 17-19. The Toronto Raptors have been a well-known team over the past couple years in their conference. They've been in the top 5 seed the past 6 seasons. But they definitely have taken a hit on their defense, especially losing one of their best interior defenders in Serge Ibaka. They went and picked up Aaron Baines this summer, but unfortunately he has not been living up to the hype they thought he would. But overall, the Toronto Raptors have been efficient this season so far. They are currently averaging 113 points a game. But like I said earlier, their defense could be a little bit better because they're allowing 111.6 points a game. And that pretty much wraps up what the Toronto Raptors are doing halfway through the season. And coming in at the 7th seed, we have the Charlotte Hornets. To me, this season so far, the Charlotte Hornets has easily been the most entertaining team to watch. They have a lot of players with chips on their shoulders, and they have a lot of players that have something to prove. So you know they're going to come out and play aggressive every single night. But starting off halfway through the season, the Charlotte Hornets have a record of 17-18. They are definitely a high-scoring team, averaging 112.7 points a game. But their defense definitely has to step up because they're giving up 113.2 points a game. But we do kind of have to cut them some slack, considering they are a very young team with a couple good veterans. But I really hope they step up their defense because I really want to see them in the playoffs. I definitely feel like they can make a good playoff run. And coming in at the 6th seed, we have the Miami Heat. After having a crazy playoff run and making the finals, which most people did not expect, the Miami Heat are having a decent season so far this year. Right now, they are currently sitting at a record of 18-18. And if you take all the injuries they have had this season so far into consideration, this record honestly is not bad at all. Because they're averaging 106.8 points a game, but they're giving up 108.4 points a game. But like I said earlier, they have been dealing with a lot of injuries this season. But by the time the NBA season ends, I definitely see them swinging back to at least a top 4 seed. And that wraps up where the Miami Heat are at halfway through the season. And coming in at the 5th seed, we have the New York Knicks. Now, to a lot of people, this may be a surprise finally seeing the Knicks in playoff contention, which is definitely something we have not seen in a while. And on top of that, the Knicks are actually one of the best defensive teams in the league. Right now, the New York Knicks are currently sitting at a record of 19-18, which this is probably the best start the New York Knicks have had within the past decade. Right now, the New York Knicks are currently averaging 104.9 points a game, and they're giving up 104.4 points a game. It's definitely impressive to see how the New York Knicks have been playing this season, especially considering that a lot of people did not have them being this good this season. And coming in at the 4th seed, we have the Boston Celtics. Now, I guess you could say that the Boston Celtics have been a little underwhelming this season so far. They have 3 all-star type players in Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Kemba Walker. But to start off the season, you could definitely say they have had their ups and downs. But right now, the Boston Celtics are currently sitting at a record of 19-17. But they are definitely a high-scoring team, averaging 111.7 points a game. But they are allowing their opposition to score 110.8 points a game. But I'd say their biggest weakness so far through this season has definitely been their interior defense. I know they went out and picked up Tristan Thompson this offseason, but he is definitely not the answer they were looking for. And coming in at the 3rd seed, we have the Milwaukee Bucks. So to start off the season, the Milwaukee Bucks are currently sitting at a record of 22-14. This team definitely made a lot of good improvements over the offseason. They went and traded for a point guard that they really needed in Drew Holiday. And then they went out and picked up another backup point guard in DJ Augustine, who was actually a solid pickup, even though he hasn't really been playing to his full potential. Right now, they're currently averaging 118.8 points a game, and they're just allowing 112.5 points a game. And the main contributors to that is definitely Drew Holiday and also the reigning MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo. And coming in at the number 2 seed, we have the Brooklyn Nets. Now, obviously, the Brooklyn Nets are going to be a very good team when they have players like James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and now they have Blake Griffin. But right now, the Nets are currently sitting at a record of 24-13. And also, the Nets are actually leading the league when it comes to points per game with 121.1 points a game. But they are allowing 116 points a game, which is the most points given up by any team in the league right now. Which brings me to my next point, that the Nets could actually use a defensive big man, because their interior defense is probably their biggest weakness. Now, coming in at the number 1 seed, we have the Philadelphia 76ers. Right now, the Philadelphia 76ers currently have the best record in the East at 24-12. And I definitely see the record just getting better and better as Joel Embiid continues to show people why he deserves to be the MVP this season. Right now, the Philadelphia 76ers are currently averaging 114.7 points a game, but they are giving up 111.2 points a game. But the Sixers' biggest X factor this season is definitely going to be Ben Simmons. We all know Ben Simmons is definitely an all-star type of player and how great he is. But this season, he's definitely gotten off to the slow start. But if he can ramp up his game just a little bit more, I definitely have the Sixers coming out of the East. Just because there is no one in the East that's a big man that can guard Joel Embiid. And that pretty much wraps up on what the Philadelphia 76ers are doing halfway through the season. But hey man, if you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you left it a thumbs up. And feel free to leave your opinions in the comments. I'd like to hear from you guys. Make sure to stay tuned in, because in the next video, we will be going over the top 8 Western Conference teams in the league today. But until next time, y'all, peace.